Okay, switching gears here, everybody. House Republicans laid out their case for contempt charges against Hunter Biden on Monday. This came down as breaking news. The House Oversight Committee released the text of its resolution to hold the president's son in contempt of Congress for defying that subpoena and refusing to sit down for a closed-door deposition as part of House Republicans' impeachment inquiry into President Biden. Let's dig into this one more with Republican strategist Rina Shah and NewsNation political contributor Chris Hahn. Chris, let me just, start with you here on this one. My first thought when this broke yesterday morning was, okay, what took so long? We knew this was going to come. Republicans threatened to do this long before he even no-showed. How meaningful of a step is this? And is Hunter in any real legal jeopardy here?
Well, we've seen how long it has taken the courts to adjudicate these subpoenas from Congress before. So by the time they actually get around to weighing this through the courts, there'll probably be a new majority in the House and there'll be irrelevant subpoenas anyway. And reminder to everybody, Hunter Biden has agreed to testify before the House, but in open session. What the House Republicans would like to do right now is have a closed-door session with Hunter Biden, the president's son, and then come out and say what happened in there, rather than the American people seeing for themselves what he has to say. I, for one, think the focus on Hunter Biden is ridiculous. The man was going through a very severe drug crisis, which he has been recovering from. And I think the House Republicans are on a mission to destroy this man in more ways than he needs to be for purely political purposes. And it's despicable. And they could do whatever they want with these subpoenas. It's never going to really have any impact on the president's son.
Rina, let me just kind of ask you to follow up on that. I feel like you're going to see this from a very different lens here, but also to piggyback on what Chris said with all the closed door deposition versus public testimony. How do you respond to those who say that if Republicans truly wanted answers here, they would have taken him up on his offer to testify publicly in front of the cameras in the world? No selective leaks, no twisting of words. Was that a bad look for Republicans, do you think?
Yeah, this is an election year. So number one, the goal is to really expose Biden. But the big thing here is that there's no smoking gun as yet. I've been waiting for that. And I've talked to members of Congress who tell me they have privately reviewed the documents and there are huge signs of corruption that are so jarring. But again, if you're not able to show the American public a smoking gun, what are you doing with your time? So I think this was a serious misstep. They should have taken Hunter Biden and his lawyer and said, look, come public, we will put you there in the spotlight and we will ask the questions. Just because he doesn't appear privately, now they're going to go to the Department of Justice and make this recommendation that he held in contempt. So we don't even know if that's really going to go through, obviously. But again, with these political games, you can expect this kind of strategy. I have talked to also Republican members about this, imploring them to think about this another way. I say, again, no smoking gun here. Where's the evidence of Biden actively doing something or having done something in the recent past that means he enriched himself, his son, he himself? No talk. So yeah. I am someone that does not think you can walk and chew gum in this situation. And that's the hard part, because I really believe you need an equal application of the law here. If somebody has been corrupt and they are a son or daughter of a president, either former or current, then we need to hold that person accountable.
Yeah. And Chris, how do we move forward here? I mean, the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees will vote on this on Wednesday. They're supposed to. Assuming it passes the House, do you expect the Justice Department to follow up on this and charge Hunter with criminal contempt? I mean, what are you realistically expecting to unfold?
I don't think this is going to be the top of their agenda, a political witch hunt by the other party. I think it's kind of ridiculous to even consider. And it's amazing to me how now House Republicans have found religion on subpoenas, right? They want everybody to honor everything they do, even though they have not granted themselves the inherent subpoena power which Congress actually has, where they can call people before the Congress if they truly want them to testify. If it's truly in the national interest, the Congress has the authority to grant themselves this power to drag people to Congress against their will. They're not willing to do that. The Democrats weren't willing to do that when they controlled the House of Representatives. So until Congress actually exercises real subpoena power, I don't know exactly, what they expect to happen. Even if the Justice Department says, okay, we'll pursue this, you're talking a year and a half, 2 years before a judge rules on it. And again, it's hard to get a conviction here when the person in question, Hunter Biden, said, "I'm happy to come. I'm just going to come in public because I know what your intent is here." That is an excellent argument from his standpoint. And
I feel like Republicans 6 months ago
paying attention.
I feel like Republicans 6 months ago, Chris, would have, fallen over backwards at the chance to hear him testify publicly. It was interesting to see that rejected. And I've asked multiple people on this show multiple times, what's the reason? The only reason they gave me was just timing of questioning purposes. Rina, let me let you put the bow on this one. Where does this go from here? The impeachment inquiry go from here as we inch closer and closer toward November?
Well, the impeachment inquiry seems somewhat stalled right now, and you will hear members concede that much. But I think going to what we're seeing right now in this moment regarding Hunter Biden, we need to see Hunter Biden in front of Congress. And look, it brings me no real pleasure to say that because I think these are distractions. I am very concerned about the Republican Party growing in its ranks. I have long been an advocate for it being a big tent party. And again, doing political witch hunts, doing revenge kind of politics from an institution like Congress, I am not one for it. But I do think that if you get Hunter Biden in front of Congress, that informs certain legislative reforms, that informs certain criminal reforms. Let's not forget he has faced felony tax charges in California, gun charges related to his former drug use in Delaware. These are all things that all, when it's brought together, this can help Congress do better for us. And again, get to the real heart of the matter that is hurting American politics and turning off elder millennials like me. It's the influence peddling that we see from the executive branch, the legislative branch, and even the judicial branch. Someone needs to get to the heart of it.
Yeah, well, we're not going to let go of this story anytime soon. We'll loop back in on it tomorrow when the House Judiciary and Oversight Committees will meet to vote. To Rina Shah, Chris Hahn, thank you as always. We'll talk to you again soon.